Communicating science is a really special, nuanced skill, I would say. I don't know if you agree with that, but now and I can now say this, like now as a behavioralist, I can appreciate how difficult that is. What are some of the things that you learned in building a business around that even if the viewers are not scientists or the listeners are not scientists, like what are some of the things that you learned through that process of distilling other people's research and work?
I think the most important insight that I have had is that when we are trying to communicate science, it's not about me, it's about the listener. It's not about the scientist, it's about the person who is trying to learn something about the science. So my job as a science communicator is to understand who you are and what motivates you. And then I have to tell my story in a way that meets you where you are and sparks your curiosity or whatever that is that I can do that. That's actually not how scientists talk to each other, right? We're taught to talk to each other from our own area of expertise. And then, some portion of the room understands what you're talking about, some portion doesn't, and you just deal with that, right? And in science, I would say we even value that a bit because there's something about a naive audience that can really spark imagination. Because if you're thinking in your box and somebody else is over in that box, trying to cross boxes is where the magic happens, right? But it's a bit harder when you're crossing that science, non-science. Divide is too strong a word, but my culture, my vocabulary, my way of looking at the world, my touch points that I share in common with people who've had the same education as I don't have that necessarily with other people. So just like every tribe or community, we have a set of mental shortcuts that we use. I cannot use those anymore as a science communicator. So, just as an example, my husband is a professor at Stanford. He's super prominent in his field, very well known. He gives probably 100, 150 talks a year. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I have a few times asked him to come along to some of the innovation type programs where I speak and where you speak, and invited him to join me on the stage. And he has told me that those were the hardest talks he's ever had to give.
Wow.
Because he had to think about every single word. So if you've ever gotten to see me in the wild, watch my face, because occasionally somebody will ask me something and my face will kind of blank out for a second, because what I'm doing is taking science language and trying to filter it, translate it into something that I think will resonate with you, a way of talking, a way of thinking, a way of believing. And that is not yet an instantaneous process for me, but I think it's worth taking the time to get that right.